Glamour Prestige presents Virtual Learning Party every Tuesday and Thursday starting March 24th, 2020 for students in grades 3 through 6, reading and English only.
Your hosts are Dr. Jacqueline Walker and Velvet Smith, who are ready to turn up for learning. Hey!
So your SOLs for today will be 3.4. The student will expand vocabulary when reading. D, use context to clarify meaning of unfamiliar words. And for fourth grade, 4.4, the student will expand vocabulary when reading. A, use context to clarify meanings of unfamiliar words.
For fifth grade, the student will expand vocabulary with reading. A, use context to clarify meaning of unfamiliar words and phrases. And for sixth grade, 6.4. The student will read and determine the meanings of unfamiliar words and phrases with authentic text. C, use context and sentence structure to determine the meanings and differentiate among multiple meanings of words.
So I can for today is I can use context and sentence structure to clarify and determine meaning of unfamiliar words and phrases with 100% accuracy with the help of mentor text, videos, and graphic organizers. Hi guys, today is Tuesday, May the 12th, and we're so glad to see you back. We've missed you over the weekend and from last Thursday when we last saw you. Well, you know today we're going to start a new lesson, and today's lesson will be about
context clues, and they're to help you when you come across words that you don't know.
All right, let's get this video wrapped up. Let's go.
You realize that the world is full of cravens who pretend to be heroes.
Quiet, Moby. You know Throne of Kings is my favorite show. Oh, craven is another word for coward.
A mind needs books as a sword needs a whetstone if it is to keep its edge.
Yeah, I guess there are a lot of confusing words in this show. Dear Tim and Moby, what are context clues? My English teacher says they can help me improve my vocabulary, but I'm not sure what she's talking about. Help! From George. Well, George, when we talk about context, we're talking about something's surroundings. You know, like the setting or the backdrop. Take a look at this picture. Can you tell what's missing by looking at the context? Heck yeah, a baseball! You can do the same detective work with words. Let me grab my Throne of Kings books and I'll show you. Yes, I've read them all. That's why I appreciate the show on a much deeper level than you. Anyway, when you see a word you don't know, it's usually surrounded by words you do know. So look at those words and see if they can help you fill in the blank. Take this for example. After dinner, a group of mummers entertained the guests by acting out the story of an evil wizard. You probably don't know the word mummer. But look at what the author says. The mummers entertain people, and they act out stories. Can you think of another group of entertainers who act out stories? Right, actors. Mummers is an old-timey word for actors. Of course, there are different ways to look for context clues. Sometimes a mystery word can be defined by its antonyms or opposites. Take this passage. Unlike his genteel brother, Hubert displayed poor manners and crude behavior. The mystery word is genteel. From the context, we know that it's the opposite of someone who's crude and has bad manners. Right again. The word genteel describes someone who's classy and dignified, like that guy. You can also figure out a mystery word by looking for synonyms, or words that mean the same thing. Here, take this one. King Adenoid had married the comeliest woman in the realm, far lovelier and more beautiful than anyone in the 12 counties. Comeliest isn't a word we see too often, but let's take a closer look. First, it ends in the suffix est, like biggest, smartest, and richest. So the queen must be the best or most at something. But what? In the same sentence, it says she's lovelier and more beautiful than anyone else. Those are the synonyms we're looking for. She's the loveliest, most beautiful woman in the kingdom. Okay, just one more trick. Sometimes a mystery word will be surrounded by examples that can tip off its meaning. Check out this excerpt. Royalton City was filled with cathedrals, castles, and other huge edifices. Now, castles and cathedrals are both examples of big... Flying monkeys? No. They're buildings, Moby. A cathedral's a building, and so's a castle. So edifices means buildings. That's true. Sometimes there just isn't enough context to figure a word out. When that happens, there's no shame in using a dictionary.
The thanes of these hibernal climes are mere vassals of the Iron Throne.
All right, guys. We are about to do what we always do, and is take that deeper dive into looking at context clues. But before we do that, how did you like that Brain Pop video, Miss Smith?
I really enjoyed it. It really told me a lot about context clues.
All right, so let's look at what exactly the definition is of context clues. It's when you use clues in a story to figure out the meaning of a new word, you are using context clues.
Clues are in the same sentence as the new word and the sentences around it too.
Clues can be found by thinking about how the word is used in the sentence.
Clues can also be found by thinking about the main idea and the details of the story.
So now let's put in a little practice like we always do.
All right, so now our activity is context clues. You see we have cell phones and text messages. If you have this sheet, bring it out. If you don't have this sheet, you can always number your paper 1 through 4 and use the information on the screen to help you complete the activity.
So what we're going to do is that we're going to read each message for you, and then the underlined word, you have to pick which one of the context clues that are listed on the right-hand side. If you see it's 4 of them listed for you, what the definition or what the meaning of that word really is. And if you have this sheet, you're going to write the number of it under it. So for example, wherever you feel like the meaning is for number 1, you're going to put it in the box on the right-hand side of what that word is to make sure that you have the correct context clues attached with that cell phone. So you know how we do. We're going to read it for you, and then you're going to pause us, and then we're going to come back with the answers. So for number 1, it says, "What are you up to?" "I'm just working on my painting for art class. It's taking me forever to finish." Well, that's because you are so meticulous about every little inch. So, Miss Smith, what do you think meticulous means? Do you think it means a horrible smell, to show great attention to detail, a fight, or to be very hot?
Okay, so when I'm thinking about my context clues, I'm thinking about it saying that it's taking me forever, I'm painting, and then it says about every little inch. So an inch is something that's small, so I think it would be to show great attention to detail.
Okay, so you've picked that one, so we're going to see on the next one if you're right. So go ahead and go to the next cell phone.
All right, cell phone number 2. "Man, I can't come over and swim in your pool to cool off. I am sweltering without air conditioning." "Sure, come on over. We've been swimming all afternoon." So, Dr. Walker, our underlined word is sweltering. What do you think sweltering means?
Well, as I look at the choices that has been read, it says that underlining sweltering, it says after that without air conditioning, and then it says about swimming in a pool to cool off. So I'm looking to believe that out of the choices that it means to be very hot, because when I go back to look, I am very hot without air conditioning if I replace sweltering with to be very hot. So I think it is to be very hot.
All right, we soon will see. Let's look at cell phone number 3.
"Did you smell that pungent odor in the locker room?" "Yes, someone must have forgotten to take home their dirty gym socks. Gross. Maybe, boy, was it disgusting." So, Miss Smith, the underlined word is pungent. What do you think that means?
Well, looking at the text and the context clues, I saw smell, odor, dirty gym socks, disgusting. All of those context clues led me to believe that pungent means a horrible smell.
Okay, now cell phone 4.
You'll never believe what I found on my doorstep today. What? A poor lost kitten. It looked like it had gotten into a brawl with another animal. He had scratches all over him. So, Dr. Walker, the underlying word is brawl. What do you think brawl means?
When I go back and look at the sentence and it has gotten into a brawl with another animal, he had scratches all over him. Seems like to me that it would mean a fight. So I'm going with a fight.
All right, so let's see what the answers are to our 4 context clue cell phones. And as you can see, number 1 was to show a great attention to detail for meticulous. Number 2
is sweltering, which is to be very hot.
Number 3 for pungent was a horrible smell.
And number 4 was brawl, and it means a fight. So if you got all of these correct, then you're absolutely right, of course. But if you didn't, make sure that you go back and look at the various cell phones and the words around the sentence to ensure that you're using your context clues to find out the meaning of the unfamiliar word. Hi guys, now it is the time in our lesson where we read and we listen to our mentor text. But guess what? You actually have this mentor text with you. It was in our pack that either your parents picked up or was mailed to you. So here it is. It is Barack Obama, a son of promise, a child of hope, and it was written by Nikki Grimes. Now Ms. Smith is going to give you the information on the back.
All right, so it says on January 20th, 2009, the day of his inauguration, Barack Obama officially became the first African-American president of the United States. So this book is going to tell us a little bit about his childhood and early life before he became our first African-American president.
All right, hope you enjoy.
This afternoon, we're going to read to you Barack Obama, son of promise, child of hope, author Nikki Grimes, illustrated by Brian Collier. I wrote it on the board just so if people come in late or forget to find out what we're reading, hey, here it is. You know it. It's on the board behind us. It's about the tough. And right now it's very tough for us all. But we're going. And we're going to get through this together. One day, Hope stopped by for a visit. It was early evening, and a boy named David sat on a tenement floor, glued to the TV. "Who's that?" the boy asked his mother, pointing to the screen. His mother looked up from a frayed sofa and set her newspaper aside. "That's Barack Obama," she said. "Barack what?" "Barack Obama," she repeated with a smile. "I know it's a mouthful. Anyway, he's someone very special." "Why?" "Well, for one thing, how come those people are shouting his name? Because are they all his friends? They must be his friends. What's his name again? Boy, you were about to wear me out." "Sorry," David whispered. The mother patted a spot on the sofa beside her. "Come," she said. "If you sit still, I'll tell you his story." They used to call him Barry. His family stretched from Kansas to Kenya. His mama, white as whipped cream. His daddy, black as ink. His mama's folks, Gramps and Toot, were part of the first family he ever knew. Love was the bridge that held them all together. "I wish Grandma and Grandpa lived close by," said David. "So do I," said his mother. In Hawaii, breathing in the scent of ginger blossoms, Barry grew, swimming, surfing, and spearfishing next to the playmates from places like Portugal, China, India, and Japan. And never once did he ask if all those people could get along. They just did. "Like the kids in my class," said David. "You're right," said his mother. Honolulu looked like heaven, but even though the blue of the sea was sharp enough to slice the sun, and the sun warmed the sand between his toes, and the sand sparkled like diamonds, nothing could fill the hole in Barry's heart once his daddy went away. His mom and Gramps and Toot told him brave and funny tales of his father's past to soothe his hurt and make him laugh. But that didn't stop Barry from feeling sad sometimes, especially when he heard the word divorce. I miss my dad too, said David. I know you do, said his mother. Barry's mom married a man named Lolo, and oh, the wonderland he took Barry to, Indonesia, a land of pet gibbons and pet crocodiles. Barry laughed himself silly, sliding in the rainy season mud. He caught crickets, flew kites, and joyed in the jungle at the edge of his new home, a perfect paradise until the sight of beggars broke his heart. Barry started to wonder, will I ever be able to help people like these? Hope hummed deep inside of him. Someday, son, someday. There's lots of poor people, huh, Mama? Yes, honey, I'm afraid so. Mama, said David, we gotta help them. We gotta help them. And that's what people are doing right now. Helping. Before dawn each morning, gotta get this situated here. Bear with me. Before dawn each morning, Barry rose, his mother's voice driving him from dreamland. Time for learning English grammar and the golden rule. Be honest, be kind, be fair, she taught him. Your father is smart and strong and full of courage, and you will be just like him. How can I, thought Barry. I don't even remember his voice. I'm smart, said David. I can spell. School. School. Very good, said his mother. You keep that up. Back in Hawaii, a surprise came one day. I'm here, son, he heard his father say. Barry listened to the strange song of his father's voice. Your grandmama says you are doing very well in school. It's in the blood, I think. With this tall and skinny Harvard man, the one who lived in all those stories, for a time all Barry could do was stare. As the days passed, they would share talks and walks, and then his dad was gone again. A ghost once more. Hold tight, said Hope. The strand of memory is stronger than you know. I wish I could meet my daddy, said David. I know, son, but no matter what, you've got me. The sun and moon paraded past Polly's Peak more times than Barry's quick mind could count. Soon he pounded across the high school gym, slamming in the basketball and his father had sent him one Christmas. A few letters flew back and forth from mother to father, from father to son. Barry was the bridge that connected them. Sadly, some days he felt as if that bridge were sinking. What's Polly? Asked David. Polly is a mountain in Hawaii, said his mother. Oh. Who am I? Asked Barry. I don't look like my mother. I don't look like my father. I only look like me. Barry was dizzy with questions. You are not your father, a friend told him. You are not your mother. You must choose your own way. Choose what? Thought Barry. Choose how? He searched for courage inside him. Hope was waiting there. What is hope, Mama? Asked David. Hope is believing in something before you see it. Like make believe? Asked David. No, honey, said his mother. Hope is real. Hope is real. Barry's mind spun like a top. How could he know which way to go? Listen, said Hope, and he did. There it was. the answer repeating like a chorus in his ears. Education is the key, said Gramps. Education is the secret, said Toot. Education is the way, said Mom. Education is the path, said his father. Remember, it's in his blood. What do I have in my blood? Asked David. A kind heart and a good brain, just like Barry. Barry rolled up his sleeves and studied in the shadow of Polly's Peak, in the shadow of the Hollywood sign, in the shadow of Langston's Harlem. Still, he couldn't stop asking, "Who am I?" Some called him an ugly name, too terrible to repeat. But he refused to answer to that. Instead, one morning, he slipped on the name he'd been born with, the name of his father, Barack. For the first time in his life, he wore it proudly, like a coat of many colors. Like Joseph in the Bible, said David. You remembered, said his mother. When Barack was studying, he liked to jog along the Hudson River. He couldn't help but notice the river of hurt and hate and history that separated blacks and whites. Being both, he could not take sides. Don't worry, said Hope. I will be your bridge. In time, you will be the bridge for others. David's mother sighed. Barry's aunt called him at school because his daddy died. I'll bet he cried, said David. Barack hid his sadness, studied the voices of his childhood. Watch, learn, keep your eyes open. Barack's eyes saw the hungry and the homeless, crying out like beggars in Jakarta, burning a hole in his heart. When his classes came to an end, he raced to Chicago to join hands with the church, to learn new lessons, not how to be black or white, but how to be a healer, how to change things, how to make a difference in the world. Hooray, said David. His mother gave him a squeeze. The work was grueling with stretches of failure and puny patches of success. Door to door, Barack went. Early mornings, late nights, pleading and preaching, coaxing strangers to march together to make life better for everyone. He worked as hard as a farmer, planting the words, "Yes, we can," like seeds in spring. Impatient, Barack kept wondering if those seeds would ever sprout. He worried that the hope in him would fade away. He didn't give up, did he? Asked David. What do you think? Said his mother. One Sunday, when Barack was sitting in church, Barack heard God say, "Slow down. Look around you. Now look to me. There is hope. There is enough hope in here to last a lifetime." Barack smiled, tears rolling down his cheeks. Suddenly he knew for certain hope would last long enough for him to make a difference. Why did he cry, Mama? They were happy tears, son. Happy tears. Tell you a secret. I cry happy tears also. Before Barack chased his future, he visited his past, traveling to Kenya to find his family, his father's bones in his own place in the circle of Africa. He sat with Amma, Zutini, Jane and Sarah, Yusuf and Saeed. He swapped stories with Roy and Bernard, Mark and George, and all the other relatives who had prayed for such a day. Finally, Barack knelt in the soil at his father's grave, listening to the still, small voice that spoke to his heart. Go now, fly free, become the man you were meant to be. Live in hope, keep the past in memory, but shape your own tomorrow. Tomorrow, 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 said David. What's so great about tomorrow? Well, said his mother, if we have hope today, we get to make tomorrow whatever we want it to be. Hope may be slim and beautiful, but she is no weak thing. Went to Harvard Law School. Barack proved that when he went to Harvard Law School, convinced people to join hands in Illinois, wrote new laws to give the poor a better chance. He proved it again when all of Washington, D.C. wondered what this skinny kid with a funny name could offer a nation in need. But the hope that lived in Barack burned bright. And on the night he became senator, everybody felt the flame. Is that why everybody's shouting his name? No, son. There's more to the story. On one star-kissed night 4 years later, as his wife Michelle stood by, Barack smiled on a sea of faces from Wichita to Waikiki. He saw whites and blacks, rich and poor, Christians and Muslims and Jews. He felt the presence of Gramps and Toot. He saw the ghosts of his parents, of Martin Luther King Jr. and JFK. And on that special day, Barack was the bridge that held them all together. Thank you for electing me president, he said. Can we make America better? Can we make together as one? Can we work together as one? With a single voice, the crowd called out, yes, we can! The little boy sat silently for a while. Then he said, Mama, I've been thinking, when I grow up, I want to be the president. Is that okay? His mother blinked back tears, crushed David to her chest, and held him there for a long, long time. Yes, we can get over this.
Did you enjoy Barack Obama, son of promise, child of hope? Did you find out some different information about our former president that you didn't know about him? Did you enjoy that rich vocabulary and maybe had to use some context clues to understand those new words?
All right, like we do every week, it is time to review our skill that we've been working on before we go into our independent practice. So, context clues, clues that good readers use to find the meaning of unknown words. So your look fors are pictures, helping words like or, like, are, call, words you know, examples and definitions, punctuation, synonyms, and antonyms. But before we go straight into our independent practice, you know what time it is. It's time for our TikTok. Okay, let's go.
Now it's time for us to practice on our own context clues. So if you have this sheet, bring it out. If you don't have this sheet, you can always write your answers down on a sheet of notebook paper using the information that you see on the screen. So let's look at our directions. Use clues from the reading passage to decide the meaning of the word. Write the clues you use that help you. So you have a multiple choice question that helps you understand what is the word, and then you're going to write the clues. So let's look at our first passage. The work was grueling with stretches of failure and puny patches of success. Door to door, Barack went. Early mornings, late nights, pleading and preaching, coaxing strangers to march together to make life better for everyone. So our word in red is grueling. I think it means A, easy, B, exciting, C, very tiring, or D, hungry. So you need to circle which one you think it is, A, B, C, or D, or write A, B, C, or D on your notebook paper, and then the clues that help you determine your answer.
Okay, so number 2 is the same exact passage, but we have a different word in red. So let's read it again. The work was grueling with stretches of failure and puny patches of success. Door to door, Barack went early mornings, late nights, pleading and preaching, coaxing strangers to march together to make life better for everyone. So our word in red is coaxing. So I think it means A, persuading, B, inform, C, explaining, D, asking. So you need to be able to circle A, B, C, or D, or write down A, B, C, or D on your paper, and then pull out the words that are in this little passage that have helped you. So you can go ahead and pause us right now, because when we come back, we're going to review the answers.
All right, now it's time to review your answers. So, for the first passage, our red word was grueling, and it means C, very tiring. And here are some suggested clues that help you to find the meaning of that word. So, we had failure and puny patches of success all help us to understand that grueling means very tiring.
And then our next word was coaxing. And in red, the answer is persuading. And clues that helped us was pleading and preaching. So there's some clues that can help us. You could add some more clues that may have helped you to understand the meaning of the word, but these are some clues that have helped you to be able to answer these particular questions. Now it's time for your homework.
All right, for homework, you have word mystery. Let's look at the directions. It says each sentence has context clues to help you figure out the meaning of the highlighted word. Circle the correct meaning of each highlighted word. The first sentence is the long hike up the top of the mountain was extremely grueling. Is that A, loud, B, tiring, or C, easy?
Number 2, the conspicuous man wore a purple wig and large sunglasses. A, easily noticed. B, beautiful. C, sleeping.
Number 3, I was so parched. I drank an entire glass of water in one gulp. Is it A, hungry, B, thirsty, or C, sleepy?
Number 4, the delightful aroma of food cooking in the kitchen made my mouth water. A, smell. B, color. C, wealth.
Number 5, the parking lot was so congested it took half an hour to get out. Is it A, empty, B, hot, or C, crowded?
Number 6, Marsha is a novice soccer player. It is her first day of practice. A, skilled. B, beginner. C, professional.
And number 7, Pete was envious of his brother's cool new bicycle. Is it A, jealous, B, confident, or C, comfortable?
All right, guys, it is time to come to an end. We will see you again on Thursday. But to let you in on a little secret, on Thursday, we're going to be
doing passage prep, and we're going to get more information about our former president, Barack Obama.
Bye, guys.